Welcome back to the Signals Room. I've been thinking about something this week, not necessarily aging itself, but the things people quietly accept as normal simply because they've been happening for a long time. The stiff joints, the afternoon exhaustion, the shorter fuse, the brain fog. How about the poor sleep, loss of curiosity, the feeling that life has somehow become smaller? And somewhere along the way, many people stop questioning whether those things were ever supposed to be normal in the first place. That's the conversation I want to have today. One of the most fascinating things about human beings is how quickly we adapt. We adapt to noise, we adapt to stress, dysfunction. We adapt to the feelings that are less than our best. In fact, we adapt so well that eventually we stop noticing. What once felt unusual becomes familiar. What once felt temporary becomes permanent. And what once felt like a signal becomes part of the background. I see this all the time in conversations. Somebody tells me they're exhausted. I ask how long they felt that way. 5 years, sometimes 10, sometimes longer. And then I can say something that always catches their attention. Do you think that's part of getting older? And they say, that's exactly what I think. Well, maybe, or maybe not. Because the body is constantly adapting to the environment that it lives in. It's adapting to stress, to sleep quality, to movement, to nourishment, to relationships, to recovery, to the thousands of inputs that we rarely think about. The body doesn't suddenly wake up one morning and decide to feel different. Usually, there's a conversation happening beneath the surface long before we notice the signals or the symptoms or the outcome. What if some of the things we blame on age are actually accumulated adaptations? Adaptations of years of overload, years of poor recovery, years of ignoring signals because life was busy and responsibilities came first. I think that's a much more interesting question, and honestly, a much more hopeful one. Because if something is communication, it may not be permanent. If something is adaptation, it may be adaptable. That doesn't mean we stop aging. It means we stop assuming that every change is caused by aging alone. And those are very different conversations. One thing I've learned over the years is the body rarely stops talking. We simply become accustomed to what it's saying. And sometimes the most powerful shift isn't finding a new solution. It's becoming curious about a signal we've been ignoring for years. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me inside the Signals Room. And until next time, keep listening for what's happening beneath the surface.